Hey everyone, today we're going to be going over groups and how to think about you have a program, what do groups do, and how to get better information out of things. So, when it comes down to it, it's sort of I'll go again. When you look at information, there is a spectrum of high to low fidelity. Fidelity just means how much you can see, how in detail it is. So on one end, you have extreme amounts of detail, and that's just the program. Like it can't get any more granular than that because there's no interpretation, there's no like grouping, there's no clustering of information, it's not being displayed. And then you have on the other end low fidelity, maybe it just says tonnage of the whole program. There's no context. It doesn't actually help. That's what you have to think about is what is the information you actually want in a usable format. So I find that if you cluster things in groups, you are able to have a better understanding of what's in a program. So if you have a powerlifting program, you can sort of put all the squats together and then you can have a better understanding of what is happening. How many times are you squatting in a week? How intense are the squats? How specific are the squats? What are the type of squats? These are all good information, but I don't need, if I did that for every exercise, why are sit ups and squats together? How much are they really telling me when they're grouped together? But also, you could just put less fidelity would be lower body, upper body. I have my deadlifts and I have my squats, but I want to know a bit more details about them separately. Same as chest and back. Yes, it's good to have them all in upper body, but I don't get a good understanding of what's actually happening. So in that, we use groups. So on the page, I have been going over is labels of some groups pending the sport. I think that the groupings you use should be sport specific, and I prefer mostly focusing on movement, and then for accessories, focusing on muscle. So a good example of this would be powerlifting. So I'm going to show you powerlifting a bit easier. Just throw them over here. So let's look at powerlifting. This is a pretty good one. What I could do is maybe put the triceps into bench, but here's another thing about grouping. It's how you want it grouped. This is pretty good for now. Maybe you could put abs into accessories. Maybe you could change accessories into miscellaneous. Get rid of abs and put triceps into bench. So now you've got 7 groups, and I think that's still pretty high fidelity, and you could be able to tell what's going on. So in this, now we can group all our squats together, all our benches together, all our deadlifts together as the primary groups, and then our secondary groups would be back, shoulders, bicep, and miscellaneous. In this way, we have our movements and then our muscle groups all being tracked. So that's actually a really good point. It's all about tracking data appropriately. So I think I do have a good example of how you can put this together. So in this, we have how groups can be put together. So each of these is programmed via groups. So you have your squats and you have all your squats underneath. You have your bench and you have all your benches underneath. So high bar back squat for sets, reps, weight, and progression model. You don't need to know about that. But also, we can look at it okay, I've got squats, we have the weekly sets, and then we have the frequency, we have the volume, we have the average relative intensity, and I can quickly see what's happening here without worrying about it. And then we can go over to this chart and we can see out we can see when things are occurring and how much is occurring per session. So now I can look at this chart and just be like, okay, how much squatting am I doing? Okay, cool. I've got a bit on Monday and quite a bit more volume on the third day. That makes sense. I already know in this program that day one is actually a more intense squat, heavier, and this is more voluminous with a bit more like accessory work. Cool. I can see that and just know. So this is a good example of like a good level of fidelity of like what information do I actually need to interpret what is happening. So yeah, that's groups. That's why it's important. And I think it's important to quantify your groups. It's good to just be like, yes, squat. What's involved in squat? Are leg extensions in squat? Or do you have a separate thing for uh, accessory leg movements? Are calves and squats? So just think about these questions and how you would actually define them. How would you put them in a program? Where would they go? And if you think about it and you have all these answers to these questions, you don't have to really ask them again. Once you answer them, they're done. I think calves should actually be in miscellaneous. I don't need to know because if I do 5 sets of calves and that blows up, I look at the program and now it's higher volume in the squats category. Is that actually accurate? So I'm looking at a program and it says, this person typically responds better to high squat training, and they're just doing 10 sets of calves a week. That throws off your answer. So think about how the information will be presented and if it would be valuable when it's included. All right. That's groups, and yeah, very important, but it is very individual. So going through I think this was it. Going through and making your own groupings per what would you call it, per sport is useful, and you can just use mine. That's fine. They're all here, but yeah, use your own or make your own. Enjoy. See you next time.